sensuality and sexuality in film has not always been tasteful.
Yeah.
One of the main films that showcases this was the 1984 film Revenge of the Nerds. A favorite of mine, a favorite of Joe's. I had no business watching this movie at 5-6 years old. Zero business watching this movie. Back then, those jokes went over my head as clouds tend to do.
Mm-hmm.
I had no business watching its sequel 2 years later.
Love the sequel.
I love the sequel.
I think 3 and 4 are underrated too, but
I agree. 3 and 4 were great.
I think I just so stuck into the lexicon of it
yes.
that I don't see it for how bad a film it really is.
I agree. Even in part 3 and part 4 are obviously made for TV. It is
right. They're bad.
low end made for TV quality. That said, we lost a man's movies.
Yes.
Was
Hollywood royalty.
He was a member of Hollywood royalty, the Carradine film family.
Mm-hmm.
He was in probably the most questionable. Scene of all time among them. But Robert Carradine was an actor who his smile. I remember every time I would see his face, and when he smiled, it was so warm. It was almost like he was smiling at you. He was one. There are certain people that, and this is how my brain works. There are certain people where I never want to see them in pain. Like I never want to see another human being in pain, but there are certain people who just have a look about them that to see them emotionally harmed breaks your heart, and it brings about something inside of you. And Robert Carradine had that. There was just something in his face where you would never want to see him harmed. And the fact that he dealt with this for so long.
Yeah, and held on for so long.
And he held on for so long and just couldn't do it anymore. Yeah. It hurts so much. Every show that we've done so far, we've had to do one of these. And it's painful because,
this one is especially painful because it brings to life mental illness. This is we've seen so many. Like you talk about that. Anthony Bourdain's another one of those for me. I never would have imagined that guy in pain, right? That guy is so cheerful, so joyful. He lived life like no other person lived life.
Right. And David Frank.
You can't believe it. You just couldn't believe it, right? When you heard it. Getting help is one thing, and directing people to help is one thing, and to be on a soapbox talking about mental health is one thing. But you do not know what is inside of another person's head, and and the only thing we can do as human beings, in my personal opinion, is love that person for who they are and what they give to us. And if Robert Carradine was in front of me live in person, I would have just unbelievably unloaded on him how much Louis Skolnick means to me, how much he meant to me playing that part, and how much I love that. Even him as Lizzie McGuire's dad, you feel the love. You feel like he transcended so many things, and he was a generational gap actor. Not only was he royalty in his family, he was royalty in acting because he touched 3 other generations that with parts that he played that mattered to people, and that's unheard of for a lot of acting.
I agree. I agree.
And so for this to come alive, it's just really difficult to swallow and understand. But at the same token, I really hope whatever plane of existence he finds himself on, or his soul finds himself, I hope he's out of pain. I just really do.
Yeah.
I just want love to be shown for that. And if you are out there suffering from mental illness, or you have something going on in your life, yes, go seek help if you can, but just know I love you, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. And please just understand that your pain, don't let your pain be minimized. I know I do it all the time. I'll say, and I've had people yell at me when I say, I feel so bad for hurting because there are other people hurting worse. And they'll say, look, your pain is your pain.
Yeah.
Don't minimize it. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if you're watching and you're dealing with it, please do not minimize your pain, because your pain is your pain and you are loved. Let's stop demonizing mental health.
Yeah.
Let's stop.
Yeah. Let's stop putting labels on it and stop, trying to diagnose it. Let's let the professionals do that aspect of it, and pay attention to what a professional is telling you when they tell you about this, right?
Exactly. And when you go to get help, listen, you're not always, you might not find the right mental health clinician the first time, but keep searching.
Yeah.
Because I mean, look, I've dealt with depression as long as I can remember. I've been misdiagnosed like twice and was overly medicated for that misdiagnosis, which made me even worse.
Yeah.
And it took me years to finally get to a place where I'm comfortable and confident and can talk. And that's not everyone's story. So let's try to show each other a little bit of grace. And if you can't show grace, it's easier to just disassociate with the person.
Yeah.
But at the same token, there's no reason to be outwardly cruel.
And R.I.P. Robert Carradine.
You will be missed. Your legacy is long-standing. And thank you for the laughs.
The road! Jesus. Do you need me to drive?
You said you didn't want to
But
drive.
I said I could if you needed me to.
But I don't. Charlie!
The man of the hour. Handsome. So glad you're here.
So where is everyone?
Everyone? I believe the word on the invitation was celebration. Well, we're celebrating.
With the people who make us happy.
We all remember the last time we were here. When we were together, we transcended. Everything disappeared. Who we are, or who we thought we were.
I would love for you to reach your point.
I want to capture that.
Capture what?
Connection.
He wanted to toy with the idea of two subjects as the final focal point in his last piece.
I thought the show was done.
So did I.
We aren't interested. I meant no offense.
Let's eat and forget.
I'm in.
Boundaries are as invisible as the air right in front of you. But the difference is, without air, you die. If we're not willing to bleed for it, what's the point?
We're not models.
Let alone nude models. I mean, could you imagine?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Saving the Seat. I am Joe Compton, and with me, as always,
The man, the myth, the legend, often imitated, never duplicated. Up is up, down is down, left is right. And you know what? I'm the man, the myth, and the legend. I already said that because I am just that great. Bryan! Tann!
we're here to take a bite out of you. Heyo!
Heyo!
As you just saw, we're starting it off a little bit erotic. And the trailer you just saw was for the movie BIGHT. And
Wow.
yeah, Bryan, I'd love to hear what you have to say because I've got some things to say.
Oh, I have some things to say too. And I think I said this to you during my watch. This takes me back to the Skinamax,
Uh-huh.
late night HBO, late night movie channel after Joe Bob Briggs's drive-in theater time frame when I'm watching movies that I have no business watching, but definitely shaped my love for film and my bad boy side, so to speak. This movie was steamy with people that it's so cool.
I have to say, I'm in awe. Okay, another thing I love is when the ending is the beginning and the beginning is the ending. This movie really does that well. This is probably one of the most amazing foreshadowed films I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I really, I agree with you on the Skinamax aspect of it. The beginning sets a tone that I think is very, very formidable in this movie, and that is the colors matter so much, and the color red especially matters tremendously in this movie. And not only in the contextual sense of it, but there's this great hallway scene where it's all red, where they have this red, hue over top of it. Again, another one of these movies that has this incredible credit sequence. It reminded me a lot of Seven, the Fincher-esque credit sequence.
Yes.
With this interesting music, and then the foreshadowing of the actual artwork that was created through this process. We have Maiara Walsh, who directed this and acts in it, and she co-wrote it with Cameron Cowperthwaite, and both of them are actors in it. And there's only 4 actors in this entire film, and Mark Hapka and Maya Stojan are both also part of this incredible foursome, and it is a formidable foursome.
I think what's really great about this is that with so few these 4 individuals carry almost all the weight. Granted, there are the couple of people at the end and the voice on the phone, but this is a story of 4 people, and they do an amazing job of it's not easy to carry a film like this.
No.
It's really not. But then I really want to choose my words very, very carefully, because number one, I want my appreciation of this film and its elements. I don't want there to be any misinterpretation, because the sensual scenes, the erotica is very steamy.
Yeah.
But it's very artistic.
Yeah.
And I think that when you can...
It does cross boundaries, though.
It absolutely does. Honestly, it even... Because, one of the biggest gripes that a lot of people that are into BDSM had against 50 Shades is that it's not an accurate depiction of BDSM. This film is kind of where someone uses BDSM and is completely untrustworthy. It's like a BDSM's worst nightmare. Mm-hmm. And it does a very good job of bringing it to life without becoming violent just for violence sake. There's always a purpose. There's an artistic purpose. And when you do things like this, it's just you can tell there was very, very careful planning, and it was just so well done.
The amazing aspect of this, in our previous episode, we talked about a film that was too much talking and not enough action. Yeah. This movie has so few words that matter to it. There's don't get me wrong, there's great dialogue. And again, I'm trying to use my words carefully here, but there's great dialogue and there's great scenes that matter with talking and showing a lot of who these characters are and their intelligence and all of those things. But the things that matter here are the things they're not saying. And it's so poignant and so powerful when you could just feel the tension. You could feel every moment of this movie had this tension point that you knew was going to boil over at some point. You just didn't know how and why. And when it comes at you, it is an absolute masterpiece in how it performs itself to get to that point where it boils over. And when it when it all said and done, you know, you look at this and you go, who do I root for really in this situation? And that's, and look, there's people, everybody in this movie crosses a line, so nobody's without sin in this movie.
Yeah.
Again, another film about, but these are bad people. They're just in bad situations doing bad things that they react, that is overreacting to what the situation
What's
is
happening
going for. So
Yeah.
they're not all bad people.
Well, one person is, well, yeah.
Well, even that motivation though, for me,
there's a reason behind it.
that builds so well, and it's just, I was talking in the last episode about there's a movie that's going to be on my list at the end of this. This is the movie that I think will be on my list at the end of the year. I think this is an early contender for top of my list.
Absolutely is.
I think this movie for 196 or 96 minutes fucking just throttled me from moment one to the very end. I was riveted the entire
I was
96
caught
minutes.
up the whole time. I feel like in so many instances when it comes to film, when it comes to music, the word masterpiece gets overused.
Yeah.
But this is it's a masterpiece.
Well, I mean, because it's a painting. It's a painting that's coming to life in a lot of respects, because that's the plot.
In many ways it does. But it's a throwback to filmmaking of the 80s and the 90s with the attitudes.
All rules are made up.
We're the ones that give them power. But fear not, rules, whether they're made up or not, are there for a reason.
I guess I'd like to know the rules.
You get to make them. But I will say, as artists, as real artists, creation is only found in the discomfort, even if only slight. So I do encourage you to find that edge and flirt with it.
It's the values and the idea of right and wrong of today with the filmmaking style, look, and setting of the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah,
and Cameron Cowperthwaite, I almost couldn't take his character seriously because Atticus. Okay, that's a choice. There were some instances where I thought he was Alfie Allen, just like some of his facial.
Sure.
movements.
Yeah.
And Mark Hapka, who plays Sebastian, I almost thought he was like he reminded me of like a cross of 90s Johnny Depp meets. It was the hair and the mustache, and I thought it was great. Our writers and our director are two of the main characters.
Yeah, the couple.
The vulnerability of the character Charlie versus like the manipulative seductress of Naomi was it was just, you could feel the passion on the screen.
Yeah, there's never been a movie where I've seen four characters more sexually frustrated and also sexually aroused at the same time and have such incredible chemistry amongst all four of them. They all of them together had an incredible like chemistry that just radiated.
Bro, just talking about this movie, it's a very cold 26 degrees outside of my house, and I feel like it's 105 degrees where I'm sitting just talking about this movie. Oh my God!
I love the purposeful idea of the two guys and two girls looking like each other too. It is an incredibly great choice because it really does play a dynamic in this movie that is an extra layer that you wouldn't have gotten if that hadn't been the case.
Absolutely.
I wrote down my favorite line in this movie was and where he tells her he missed the spot. And he's taking paint off of her, and she goes, "He always does." I was like, "Damn."
I think for me, and I don't have it word for word right now, but when Naomi's trying to get Charlie to try on the outfit, and she goes, "Well, maybe not for you." Like that subtle dig at her, like she's manipulating her, like she's manipulating her into feeling beautiful, but still is trying to keep her in her place. Like, but I'm still the sexiest one here, and it's like
the only slight criticism I will give this movie is that the scene before it ends should have been the scene it ended on. We did not need that extra scene at the end. I got why it was there. I understood why it was part of the lexicon of the movie and what it was saying. I just feel like we just didn't need it. It was superfluous at the end of it.
I can understand that.
You know,
I
I think the car was perfect way that thing could have ended, and it could have faded to black, and it would have been perfect. I
agree. I absolutely agree. And I tell you what, that scene was also like picturing that is physically uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but it was hot.
Yeah,
it was hot.
Yeah, and it was the perfect way to end.
I agree.
This triumph. This movie is really, really amazing in so many ways, and I can't. Everything about it was near flawless for me, and there's a great my nerd out moment is there's a great scene when they're first going through the hallway, the red hallway, and there's this pull in shot where you see her kind of slither behind him. And she's seducing him with the slithering with her fingers across his back, and you see this pull-in shot where it pulls in around her. And I thought that had to be tough in that hallway like that. I'm guessing that maybe it was an open studio and that didn't have the hallway. We just made the hallway effect. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how that was exactly done, but that impressed the shit out of me. This movie, though, I mean, like I said, I was riveted for 96 minutes. I could not take my eyes off of it.
My writing nerd out moment and my character development nerd out moment is when Atticus is, he's looking up and you can tell he goes from feeling shame to fear to fury. And then he just goes, Turner. And I'm like, oh, cold-blooded.
Is this your dad? I promise you I'm gonna get you out.
Afternoon, boys. Can I join the party? Baby, breathe.
Oh, he's looking at the truck bed. He's looking in the... What's back there? Landscaping tools. Hey, look. No, I need your help, man. I just got robbed blind. I just got straight up robbed. Some skinny kid with tattoos, some pretty girl. Get in the truck. How in the hell did kids even get involved in selling illegal firearms? This ain't right. You're not making this easier for anybody. Do you have a better plan?
It's crazy how fast time just goes away.
These guys are gonna get their money, and they're not gonna stop until we're dead.
Are we doing this?
Look, Jack, we need to just give away the money and we need to go, man. This is it for us. This is our solution. We're not leaving her alone. This is my home too, man. You are done.
You're all I have. You are all I have. I can't lose you.
All right, so that moves us on to our next film, which you just saw the trailer for. Another sexually fused duo doing dastardly deed. Jack and Ava is the name of the film that we're talking about. Unlike the predecessor of the film we just talked about, I have some issues with this film, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I love the way that this whole thing was shot, and the way it begins is amazing. I love the opening of this movie with the Fight Club stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm wondering what the fuck did that matter at all in this movie? It did not matter one iota.
Right.
To what we're about to witness.
What was your point?
I mean, and it's unfortunate because that stuff was fucking gold. It was amazing.
It looked absolutely amazing.
Not only that, but it told you so much about Jack to begin with.
It really did. It really did. But
I love the way that they flash in and out of what's real and what's flashbacking.
Yeah, this movie, it was almost like it was looking to be, I don't know. It was like it was trying to be something
like Bonnie and Clyde meets Natural Born Killers,
right? But a lot of it, like number one, there's suspension of disbelief, and then there's don't insult my.
So glad you're bringing this up because this is my major problem with this movie. Is there is no motivations for anybody in this movie whatsoever. We do not learn a single motivation except for maybe Ava.
Yeah. There's a thing we have here in Pittsburgh. It is called chipped ham. Chipped ham is literally it's ham and it's cut super thin, chipped.
Mm-hmm.
The motivations of this movie is chipped ham. And I hate chipped ham. I really do. This movie, I get what it was trying to do. It's trying to be that edgy thriller.
Yeah.
But
it's trying to be like
It's trying to be Bonnie and Clyde. It's trying to be Natural Born Killers. It's trying to be so much. And it's like, I'm sorry, but the writing isn't there for it. The technical direction isn't there for it. The acting isn't there for it. This is literally, and I don't want to be mean. I really don't. But
this is raw indie for sure. But
this is extremely raw indie. Our director, Michael Pollard, he's been at this now for a couple of years now, since 2018. Mm-hmm. He was a cinematographer.
And that aspect of this is shot extremely well. This movie is really beautiful to look at in terms of how it's presented. It's also edited very well.
It's edited well. It looks
story,
great.
the acting, and the motivations of the characters all are lacking so tremendously in this movie, and it really, after a while, it just becomes bland and just like, what are we doing?
Now, this won Best Feature Film at the Da Vinci Film Festival, and I kind of feel like I can see why it won, because it looks great.
Yeah.
But yeah, and maybe, and I think this is his first feature film that he directed, and it shows. I really feel like, our actors are, our characters, that they're not breathing for me. And I'm sorry, there's no way you're going to have a lunatic like this guy as a cop. There is no way he is getting through week 1 of Police Academy.
Right.
Like that. Because, and if he is, like, it must be an ICE training facility.
There was one good actor in this movie that I was happy that they had that moment, and that was the guy who the gas gets stolen from. He warmed me a little bit. He kept me in this for a little bit longer than I wanted to be in it. And it was kind of cool to see him at the end. But I just, getting from point A to point B to point C, there's just no roadblocks that matter in this movie that make it so that you can care about the end.
Yeah. It's a great effort. It's a great effort, but I kind of feel like some of the questions that we're asking needed to be asked. Mm-hmm. Okay, we've got a girl that's trying to get away from something. All right, cool. That's great. But give me
why did they turn to a life of crime right off the bat? Well, what is it about that?
Why did they decide to steal these particular guns?
Yeah, how did they get to know those people? How did they get to figure that out? Because they obviously knew each other. It becomes apparent halfway through the movie, right? So,
and what got me,
I mean, if they had connected the fight part to that would have been such an incredible, leap into this movie. And then it would have all made sense. They needed something to connect them to the initial act of what they were doing. And that would have then made all of what they did afterwards make a lot of sense. And it's not bad action.
No, the action is good.
Yeah. It's just, there's just not that
motivation. Flow. There's no flow. And the motivation is, and I'm sorry, but there's one character, if you have been hunting these people for as long as you have, you're not just going to automatically, okay, we're friends now.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, the traumatic event that causes that.
I can't. That felt too sudden for me. And
Yeah,
maybe
it
I'm
was a
just
little
an
bit of that.
asshole. Maybe I'm just an asshole, and I'll admit it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a movie that, like I said, do I hate it? No, because I appreciate what it was going for.
Yeah.
Am I gonna watch this again?
You know what? This movie, it's disappointing. It's a child that's disappointed you a little bit, and you just wanted them to do better because
I'm not angry.
You saw it.
Disappointed.
Yeah, you saw it. You saw what they were trying to do.
Yeah,
and it made sense, and it's kind of interesting if you get into it, but I just didn't know why. And if I knew why and what the connections were all together, this movie would have been fantastic in my mind because it was done well. It was made well. It just didn't make sense.
Sophie, tell us about your new school.
It's bigger, it's more diverse.
Hi there. Do you want to join Korean Student Society?
Yeah, I'm even considering going by my Korean name now.
Who said you have a Korean name?
Could you guys help me translate something?
Yeah, what's up?
How do you pronounce that?
박주현.
Promise me you won't use your Korean name.
Is one of your superstitions?
This is not a superstition.
She thinks her family's cursed. Cursed. She doesn't even want me to use my Korean name. You still haven't told me what it is.
Park Ju-hyun. Don't speak that name. I brought this curse back to our family.
And that leads us into our next film, which is Death Name. That is the movie we're talking about that you just saw the trailer for. This movie it's very cliche in a lot of respects.
Okay.
But I mean, I love the cultural phenomenon of it. I like that it's tackling a different culture and utilizing different aspects of lore. But the way it looks really felt like
it looks
too clean.
The way the film is shot. Now here's the thing. I like Death Name. I like this movie. This movie, Death Name, I really like it.
It's got a cool plot.
It does. Now, what really compels me with this film is that it's the story, of a second generation of an immigrant family coming from Korea, and the grandmother has purposefully stymied their culture to the point where, like, the mother, like her granddaughter and daughter, don't even speak their native tongue. Where I don't know anything about my familial culture from where we're from. So it's almost like if we looked at a Venn diagram, we're very similar, but it's the differences. And it was really, really good. And I like the characters. I like the creepiness, but it's just the way the movie looks in a lot of instances. The way the shots transition to film.
This movie is sloppy too. Continuity-wise, this movie makes a lot of mistakes.
It does.
The shadow effect in this is kind of cool, though. I've never seen a shadow move on a screen like that before. That was really cool. Yeah. I love, like I said, I love the lore. I love that we're getting a different perspective on that lore.
Yes.
I love all that you said about denying the heritage because it matters in this movie. But there's a moment when she's at the bar where she first meets June, and she takes a whiskey. That's what she orders, a whiskey.
Yeah, I'll have a whiskey.
And then she doesn't drink it, and then she orders another drink. So she's basically got two full whiskeys in front of her with another one that the gentleman that she ordered for June. And it's like, okay. And then The real egregious continuity error is the beads in which he gives as a present to the grandmother. They're a different color than the ones that her mother died on.
Well, because, I know I really like that when she saw the beads, because I think they were like, well, they're just white. And then it's like, but then when we see what everyone else sees but her, I thought it was cool. That took me back to the Lost Boys, where David gives him the rice.
With the worms.
But he sees the maggots.
Yeah.
That's what that was for me, and I thought it was really cool.
You could be right about that. But there's other continuity errors where somebody's wearing a certain outfit and they're not wearing that in the next shot, and things like that. There's some laziness in this movie, right?
And that kind of goes to when we did our if you guys have not seen our amazing interview that we did with our new buddy Greg Porper from Don't Tell Larry. Mm-hmm. And we were discussing, if you have a time frame, what sort of things suffer when you're trying to reach that time frame. And I really think in this film's case, a lot of the continuity suffered because maybe they were trying to finish filming.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
And to me, that is very indicative of certain indie films. You know, you have this great idea, but you don't have the money for it.
Okay. Two things about this movie that are super important. Okay. One is the Korean influence that is Americanized, that I think is very, very, very much a forefront of the theme of this movie, which is important. And Amy Kuhn is very good in this movie. I think she's a future star if she's not already. I didn't look her IMDb up, so I don't know if she's done a lot more stuff, but she's really, really good in this movie. And you have to give this movie a chance simply because Tubi made it themselves. This is from Tubi's brainchild. They gave the money to make this movie. So this is a Tubi original film. So we have to applaud that and give that credence. We need to let Tubi know that to not stop, even though this movie wasn't perfect. Tubi's got to keep doing this for filmmakers because this is amazing that they're doing this, and I'm so proud that's happening in this world. And that they're telling different variations of stories, and I love that too. So Tubi needs to be patted on the back for this amazing adventure.
As much as I don't want to give them credit, I have to agree. You know, Screamify is doing the same thing for indie horror, and if Tubi's going to do this for indie film as a whole, so that way, you know, they're getting, you know, everybody's getting a bit of something. I think that's absolutely great. I'll say that, and when I say, as much as I don't want to give them credit, you know, owned by Fox Corporation, so that's on me, but I can still enjoy the films that are on there. So yeah. But I feel like Tubi, Pluto, Screamify, they need to be there for the indie filmmakers. Absolutely. Because I don't know if you noticed, Joe, but the big film studios are slowly starting to be absorbed. You know, Warner Brothers is going by the wayside.
Well, they're all becoming conglomerates.
They're all becoming super conglomerates.
Yeah. Which is the way of the world. But
but indie film needs to find a way to thrive. And listen, if a Tubi, a Pluto, even aspects. Now, granted, Amazon isn't giving any money to indie film, but they are providing the space for indie films going for streaming. Which, I mean, look, you got to give credit where credit's due.
And I will say that this movie is paint by numbers horror, but that's not always a bad thing.
It's really not.
I'm tired of people going, well, it's the same plot over and over. It's just recycled plot and recycled cliches. Yeah, because those work. That's what makes this movie interesting, is the actuality of the things that you know. Yes, of course you're going to figure it out like 10 minutes into the movie before the characters figured it out an hour and a half later. Yes.
But it's okay.
Yes, you know that this is fake and this is real. Yes, you see the lines being drawn. All those things, but that is not a bad thing, and especially in this movie, the things that are canon here work, but there's a stretching point to that. Even like there's the moment when she's asking the professor to help her, right? And she goes, "Oh, this is interesting." Of course, yes, of course. Come on,
yeah. We know you're gonna find something, and blah. Of course you are.
I mean that moment was a little bridge too far for me in that respect.
There is no way a college professor's office is going to be that tiny.
Right. Plus, it mattered very little to who actually helps her and actually gets the job done, which I thought was that was a great moment. And that stuff in the abandoned library is my favorite stuff.
That is probably among my favorite aspects of it. And the ending really got me. I'm like, oh yeah, nice,
good old. And that is a cliche horror thing that happens in every horror movie. And you know what? It fucking works. It works really well in this movie.
It works. There's nothing wrong with it. If you don't like it,
go fly kite.
Exactly. In a lightning storm with 18 keys.
We are going to do some damage in this town.
Meet the Joneses.
I'm Steve Jones.
Hi. This is Jen and Nick, and I'm Kate.
They're beautiful.
That's hot.
Oh, I love this.
Oh, the phone's great, but I was talking about the husband.
They're popular. They're not just living the American dream. They're selling it.
These are delicious.
You like them? Who does your catering? Chef Robert.
I didn't know he was doing frozen food.
Can you believe it?
Do the clients know how this works?
Of course not. That's why it's called self-marketing. If people want you, they'll want what you've got.
Gotta sell. Ow. Have you seen these new MP52 irons? Just added 40 yards to my drive. Very nice. Cool shirt, by the way. Under Armour.
Sporting goods up 16%.
Booyah!
Where'd you get those shoes? What you want to create is a ripple effect. I could die for that dining set.
Nice.
Are you showing off your new toy?
Guilty, yeah.
Ooh.
This really wasn't covered in my orientation.
But keeping up appearances.
I have to ensure that my unit is selling their products.
Do you have a unit? That explains why we're in separate bedrooms, perhaps.
Is a full-time job.
I'm your boss. I don't need to be friends.
So this is just business, huh?
Your numbers are looking good.
Thanks, boss.
This part is pretend.
You don't realize the effect you have on people.
You're a charismatic guy, but if you don't apply yourself, then that's all you're going to be.
Honey, I am home. Well, hello.
What was that?
Just applying myself.
It's bigger than yours.
Holla at a player, yo. This whole act, it just gets to me. You know, you can always just talk to your fake mother. It's natural that a family has problems.
We're not a family.
A unit?
The Joneses.
What were your other 12 husbands like?
You know, you've seen one Mr. Jones, you've seen them all.
And as Bryan alluded to earlier, I am wearing a special shirt that honors him and his partner, Mr. Shane Wilson, who is giving us a film to review.
I'm just telling you right now, Shane Wilson, motherfucker knows what he's talking about.
My name is Shane Wilson. Tonight, we're talking about Suicide Squad.
Bryan Tann knows what the fuck he's talking about.
It's Bryan Tann, and I'm here with another Tann Talks. We're talking the Snyder Cut.
Go check out the Plotaholics. The Plotaholics, man. Because they're the best in the business, and they know what they're fucking doing. So smash that subscribe and do this fucking shit. Break it down. Give the fucking like. Smash that fucking like button. Plotaholics.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
And he picked a film that I was not very familiar with, to be honest with you. It was something I had never heard of or seen.
Me neither.
And to see the names that were all associated with it, I literally looked it up to the finest tilt to make sure it was indie. because just the names associated with it, you would not assume as an independent film. But this movie is very indie, and just because it has the names in it doesn't matter, because I think this movie is not what you expect it to be. And kudos to Shane Wilson for bringing us the Joneses.
Dude, Shane Wilson, my brother. This film is you, the LMNOPQRS and the T. This is a Shane Wilson special. I'm surprised Shane and I did not do this on the Plotaholics.
Yeah.
This is a
he actually, when he sent it to me, he questioned. He wasn't sure. He wanted to check and make sure that he hadn't before he.
We did not. We did. I remember. First of all, this film, as you saw from the trailer, Demi Moore, David Duchovny, Amber Heard, Gary Cole, Lauren Hutton, Glenn Heady. This film has some Hollywood heavyweights.
Yes.
So, if you didn't really pick up on it with the trailer, stealth marketing, and I'll tell you what, if this isn't a real thing, you're lying. It is a real thing. This is definitely a real thing. As a matter of fact, we've just turned it into algorithms and apps using our phones to listen to.
Yeah, this is the very first version of an influencer.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. This is influencers before there were a thing. What I really like about this film, Joe, is the performances. The performances, this is very well written. It's very well shot. And I really feel like, well, for one, seeing Amber Heard get her comeuppance always makes me smile. Can you tell I'm not an Amber Heard fan?
Yeah. I got a sense of that. I'm just an inkling. I'll tell you though, I am a huge Benjamin Hollingsworth fan now, because I think of all the character arcs. I mean, Demi Moore goes through a huge shift. Duchovny doesn't go through a shift because his inner character was always there. He's kind of, he comes into this as the new guy in the situation, and so you don't really have a lot of him setting his feet in a lot of respects. He kind of just plays the same guy, but you do see his moral or his moral compass come to play and come to bear, which is very interesting. And you're right, that is good acting chops that happen there, because it's subtle and very nicely done. And Demi Moore also deserves a lot of credit for her shift in this movie. But Hollingsworth really is the guy that does a 360, and there's a little bit of a subtle reveal that is not, that Amber Heard's character Jen gives away, that kind of sucked that's the way it happened, but it is kind of very almost 90s-ish the way it happens. And in the situation, it totally makes sense why it happened that way. There's nobody to really involve emotionally in that. And I know that I'm being very vague, but for a good reason. I don't want to give away.
Yeah, we try really, really hard not to spoil these.
The idea of this movie is secrets really eat you alive. And this movie is one erosion away from one scene to the other scene to the next scene. And everybody has an erosion moment in this movie. And that's really, even the side characters that are important, other than the hairdresser, even he has a kind of an erosion moment.
Little bit. And I'll tell you what, he makes, I love Chris Williams. I think Chris Williams is such an he's such an underrated actor. Because
I mean, you want to talk about underrated actors? Glenn Headley is
Glenn Headley is also, because, and she's been doing it for a long time too.
Yeah, she's we were talking to Greg about Ed Begley Jr.'s connection to everybody. Glenn has been in a ton of independent films that you can connect the dots to her.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think the first movie I remember seeing her in was Dick Tracy.
Yeah, sure.
And she was amazing in that. And that film was a technical
halfway through her career too,
Absolutely. I did not realize that we lost Glenn Headley back in 2017, which is horrible.
Yeah.
Because she was still so young. She was only 62 when she passed. You're talking about Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Making Mr. Right, Dick Tracy, we already talked about. Sergeant
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, she's amazing in that movie.
Sergeant Bilko alongside Steve Martin. The fact that she was able to trade barbs with Steve Martin.
Well, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels too.
Dirty Rotten, yeah. And
that's Steve Martin too.
Yes, it is. And Steve Martin, who was a comedy chameleon, he can be subtle or he could be fast paced, and she keeps up with them. Just like everyone in this film just brings, it's almost like, and correct me if I'm wrong with this, but there are a lot of like big name A-listers that once they start to do indie, they bring, it's almost like they bring those chops. Like when we hear actors talk about wanting to do theater because it's so pure, but they go into making indie films in much the same vein. When you get these A-listers that, because we saw that with the Phoenician Scheme, right?
The funny thing about this movie, which is ironic me saying it, the funny thing about it is that the comedy in this movie is tragic. It is with a kind of meanness in a lot of respects.
Yeah, it really is. Because
it's not laugh out loud funny or have funny
it's ironic.
Yeah.
But it's also big time corporations and it's consumerism playing to our weaknesses. Playing to our weaknesses as a society. Harry Cole is probably the most tragic character of this film.
And you don't even really get all that. You feel it, right? And then when it happens, right? When what Gary Cole goes through finally comes to the surface, you look back on it and you go, "Oh yeah, I can totally see that." You know?
That like it could have been any of us.
Yeah. I wrote this movie is just waiting for the person who figures it out first, and then the unraveling comes.
Yeah.
And then I also wrote here's a note. Stella, when Gary Cole goes, "This is a really good beer. I'm glad you introduced me to this import," and it's Stella Artois. That's because people don't realize that's Anheuser-Busch, and it is also it's Budweiser for snotty people. Is what?
Yeah, and I tell you what, I wouldn't drink Budweiser if you paid me.
And I like Stella. I drink both Budweiser and Stella, but I'm just saying, that you could have gone with like some kind of like German import or
right.
I mean, I would have even bought Guinness at that point. But Stella being the fact that they hide the label, but they halfway hide it, just cracked me up too, because that's a very indie thing to do. You can't show the label because right. The Bush would get your ass
right
and ask for money, but you don't want to not people to recognize it
right.
By doing a half turn. I knew what it was immediately,
right?
And that's just a funny indie thing that happens. Pulling back the curtain for people out there, going behind the scenes a little bit. That's something that indies think about a lot. It's how do we get product placement without getting product placement?
Right.
Or getting sued
without getting sued because we ain't paid for it because we can't pay for it.
But
I gotta let everybody know, because I started watching this on Tubi. It is available on Netflix if you don't want to watch. If you don't want to pay, if you don't want to deal with the ads. Because the ads, this is a movie, though, that the ads of Tubi will take away from the experience.
Yeah, because you feel like it's part of the movie.
Yes! I seriously felt like I was in an episode of The Truman Show. It was driving me crazy.
That's funny. I like that. I like that a lot. That's very hilarious. Yeah, this movie surprised the shit out of me. I did not expect to think it was that good. Like the first 20 minutes, I knew what was going on the very moment of the opening scene. I knew this was the Burbs all over again. I didn't know how it was the Burbs. It was a different way of the Burbs, but it was the Burbs. Basically, it's a movie that you're in this nice little neighborhood with people you just don't think are that don't have problems. They're squeaky clean and they have all these secrets, and these secrets are eating them all alive. Yeah. And it's very cool. It's a very cool way in which they approach this. I think it's a very cynical, masterful way, because this could have been chuckle, and that would have just completely made this a different movie and a really bad movie on top of that, and it doesn't. It goes the right way in terms of how it approaches how to deal with this stuff, and it doesn't disappoint you in the end, which is what a lot of these movies end up doing, right? They end up disappointing you with a very bad decision that is made, and nobody makes a bad decision in this movie. Everybody makes an expected decision,
right.
And I think that's the difference. And I think that really made this movie hit home for me in that respect. So thank you, Shane. Another really great suggestion. I think we're 2 for 2 right now.
So let me ask you, everybody watching, because this is something new that Joe and I are doing for this season. You watch this, you see what we're watching. Is there an indie movie in your mind that you're like, you know what, I really want to know what these guys think of this? Yeah. You know what? Reach out.
Yes,
that's an idea. Joe will determine if it's truly indie because I am terrible at it. I will just look at a movie and be like, hey, this isn't Warner Brothers, Paramount, Columbia, Sony, or Disney. It must be indie, right?
Which is why I was so excited, and we're getting off the beaten path here, but I was so excited to bring Oscar Shaw in front of you, because when I found out it was an indie movie and it had Michael Jai White in it, I go, oh my God, Brian's gonna love me for this.
And now I know exactly how you felt when I suggested Contracted.
No,
you got me back. Congratulations.
That was not my intention. Believe me, I wanted the opposite to be true.
So did I. And unfortunately, we can't watch Blood and Bone because it is not indie.
Yeah, but
it's just
anyway, that is our show for this time around. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with some more movies to watch and more movies to recommend. And as always, we're saving you a seat for all of those adventures. Why, Brian?
Because it's always time to go indie now.